Hello, it's Michael, and I'm going to talk for a few minutes about uh, my cell phone. I have a Samsung Note 4 smartphone, and I've been having a smartphone for a while. And throughout the past few years, I've asked myself, how self, how smart is this phone, and how much is it helping me in my lifetime? And just as though I question whether or not I am having a nourishing meal or a treating meal or a poisoning meal, yesterday I was thinking to myself, is my telephone nourishing? Is it treating? Or is it actually poisoning my life? And I've kind of gone through cycles of this throughout my lifetime, and it's just good to have an awareness. So the reason I'm bringing this up is in case you haven't considered this before, I'm going to kind of discuss some of the concepts and the way that I help my phone help me mend myself. So the most common way is to acquire some apps. So there are plenty of apps that, like Netflix and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and a bunch of apps that can be positive or negative depending on your use and the quantity that you use it and the reason that you use it and what you do with it. So there are some things that can be nourishing or some things that can be poisoning depending on your use. So some of the apps that I use to actually help mend myself, there is a countdown app. And the way that I use this is I set it for 30-minute increments. And basically, I don't allow myself to check my Facebook or any other social media except for those 30-minute increments. And the reason that I decided to do this was because there's also an app. It's called, I believe, Phone Addict. And what this does is it captures every time that you turn on your phone and you look at social media or you just use your phone in general. And there were times where pretty consistently I checked my phone 90 to 100 and maybe 130 max per day. And obviously, if you do the math, this is a lot of phone checking. Now, in my defense, I am on call with the hospital, so quite frequently I'm looking at my phone, especially while I'm awake. And if I wake up in the middle of the night as well, I check my phone to determine whether or not I had any missed calls from the hospital. So part of my job is checking my phone. But typically when I check my phone, I also check my Facebook. So what I did was I kind of weaned myself off just by using this basic system of only allowing myself to do this at certain intervals of time. And this is also is included in the car. So it makes it to where I am safer in the car while I'm driving, because if I'm sitting at a stoplight or whatever, I'm not checking my phone. And I know there are a lot of people that do this and a lot of people that don't. So if you're a person that does this and you know that it's an issue, a safety issue, or just an emotional issue for you to be checking your phone so often, then this might be something that you might want to utilize. And then there are also, of course, other healthy apps like exercise apps that track your mileage and your route and your elevation gain. There are nutritional apps that you can put in what you ate and calorie counters. There are water apps that can determine, you can set at predetermined times to remind you to drink water. I have a friend of mine that uses that, and every 60 minutes her phone says, "It's time to drink water." So it's pretty cool. I like that. I don't use that personally, but it's funny to hear it. And these types of things. So I think that you can help use your phone to help you mend yourself. Some other options are like just a notepad. So if throughout the middle of the day you're thinking to yourself, well, I wish I would have been more prepared in this way, or in my journal tonight, I want to remember to write about this or to think about this a little bit while I'm journaling. Then you can make just a really brief note, even using the microphone on your phone, to help remind yourself what it is that you want to educate yourself about later on that evening. 20 years ago, there used to be bumper stickers on everybody's car that said, "Kill your television." And after 9/11, I actually did kill my television. I was in the middle of nursing school, and when 9/11 happened, and it was just so much negativity and stress and just global stress in my life at that time. I was like, well, I have to reduce some of the stressors, and television turned out to be one of them. And now it's almost like that bumper sticker could be the same to say, kill your telephone. Now, of course, we can't do that. We can't be without our phones. And in your house, if you're eating crappy foods and you start to nourish yourself and eat better, the first thing that the dietitian is going to tell you is to get all of that shit out of your house. And if you feel like you're watching too much TV and you're decompressing too much in your television, you can get rid of cable and get rid of your television. But it's exceptionally hard with your telephone, especially one that has television on it, and to get rid of it. So a while ago, I actually got rid of my smartphone and went back to a flip phone. This was about 2 years ago, and did a prepaid flip phone, turned my smartphone off for like 2 months, and got rid of wireless internet in my house, so that basically I didn't have any internet access in my house. And I did this for about 2 months, and it helped me prove a point to myself that I could function without the internet, but I just choose not to. So I know if I'm going to choose not to, then I need to come up with just some basic awareness and a system in order so that I'm not abusing it for self-soothing or for escapism, basically. A lot of people use the argument when they say that they can't exercise because they don't have enough time. But if you use like an app on your phone to help you determine how much time you're actually on your phone, then you'll see that many people spend a gross amount of minutes or hours looking at their phone screen every day. And the argument that I give is that if your attention is focused to your phone, even at little sporadic bursts throughout the day, and all of this time is cumulative and becomes excessive, then what you're doing is you're taking away from the chunks of time and the ability to actually put in the effort and the energy and the time into mending yourself. So if you may spend 10 or 15 minutes in the morning while you're drinking your cup of coffee, watching a YouTube video or catching up on Facebook, you could actually be spending that time walking around your neighborhood drinking your first cup of coffee, if you so choose. And moving and journaling and making sure that you nourish yourself and making sure that you decompress in healthy ways, those are all excessively important things, and they all trump actually the exercise. So it's important to recognize where the drains are for your time. And I have a friend of mine, and she's raising a young man, and he's 10 years old now. And on the weekends, he has, and probably on the weekdays, he has limited screen time, which means his eyes can be on a screen only for a limited amount of time. And he actually self-regulates this, even though he's only 10. So the number for him is 3 hours on the weekend, 3 hours per day. So if she wants to sleep in late, then and he wants to watch cartoons, he knows he can save an hour, use an hour and a half in the morning, and then save an hour and a half if they want to watch a movie later on that day. And he's got to be accountable for that. So, and the reason for this is because she doesn't want him spending his childhood looking at a screen. She wants him experiencing life and being outside and having friends and playing and moving and burning calories and building a musculature and all of these things that we're supposed to do as kids and as adults. So it's possible that as adults we should be utilizing the same advice that a good parent would give their kids, and question, how much screen time do we have? How much screen time are we having on our phones and on our computers and on our TVs and at work looking at the computer screen? I know for me, in a 10-hour shift, 6 hours of it's looking at a computer screen documenting, which is really unfortunate. But that's just the way healthcare is now. So, just like we want little Tommy and little Susie to go out and play and kick the ball and run around and jump rope, we should be expecting the same things for ourselves, and putting ourselves in a position to get that for our lives, and because life shouldn't be about looking at a screen. So it should be about experiences and excitement and love and happiness and companionship and all of these things. So go outside and move yourself, put your phone down, and mend yourself. All right, have a good day.